in Thailand. Hope you're doing well. Sorry about the late stream because I've been really busy today. I do apologise. Yeah, so welcome back. Hope you're doing well. Anyway, so we got a few things to talk about today, but let's just have a bit of fun today. Let's just have a bit of fun. It is one Parahaspo D, as they say in Thai, Thursday. It's cloudy. For instance, it's been sunny most of the day. But there's a bit of ornament cloud over here in Thailand. So we're expecting a bit of rain. I've been out shopping. I've been doing busy thing, running. And so for instance, but I've actually been away very early because I found out that, first of all, United lost the European Cup final. Yay! Yes. Their season so dependent on this final. And they lost it. And what's their reaction? We were the better team. Now, didn't Manchester City were the better team against Crystal Palace? Okay, but we lost, etc. But did United give us any favours? Did United turn around and say, I'm sorry, or whatever, I understand that you were the better team, or blah, blah, blah? No, they just went blah, 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 blah. Whatever, and they lost. And the only thing they can say is that we were the better team. Amarin can come out and say, we were the better team. No, you lost. Your season, your entire season depended on the fact that you were going to beat Spurs, to get in the Champions League, and you lost, and you're going to finish 16th, and you lost to a team who was 17th. You're a bunch of losers. United are losers. And that is what you exactly are, United. You're a bunch of losers. I can't stand you. I absolutely hate you. Because quite honestly, you're a bunch of selfish sons of losers. And I swear to God, when I was a kid growing up, this was not the case. The hatred for United was not because of it always was. There was a time, etc., where Manchester City, because we held United so many times, we held them with their manager. We called them the rags because they couldn't afford T-shirts, right? And we gave them the T-shirts. The difference was the unique air disaster. That was the difference. Now you can sit there and call me out and say, yeah. Well, now that was the bang-on difference. And the difference is, my father turned around to me and said to me, me and my father, we never got on. Absolutely never got on. When I was shot. But the fact is, we can actually focus on one thing, right? The fact that when he talked to me about Man City, because I said to him more than one occasion, why are you a Man City over United fan? Irishman. 100% Irish. Loved Ireland or whatever. And he said to me these words. He said, because they don't respect Manchester. They don't care about Manchester. And the day they moved out of Manchester, a lot of Mancunians turned around and said, why the hell are you moving over there? Because at the time we're talking about, right, you can talk about boundaries and about Salford or Trafford, or they're still in Manchester, or they got an M postcode. At the time, when they moved out of Manchester, it was not Manchester. It was Salford. It was not Manchester. Quote me on it. Don't quote me on it, regardless. I know. And the mere fact that these tourists actually moved out, and my father said to me in the 1970s, said to me, the reason why they're moving out of Manchester is because they only care about themselves. They don't care about Manchester. They only care about being successful. They don't care. That was then. That was 1970. That's all they care about. Not today, not 2025, and that's all they care about. They talk about the biggest club in the world. We're the biggest club in the world. Who cares? They were bigger when the biggest club, because of the Munich air disaster, for instance, because of that, when I was growing up. Okay? When I was growing up. But I didn't join them because they were the biggest club in the world. I could join Manchester City because I became a Man City because they were a Manchester club. Manchester. Right? That's why I became a Mancunian, because I grew up in the town of people talking about what's it called, growing up in the why don't you support your local club? Manchester was my local club. Manchester City was my local club. The first team to choose the word Manchester in their name was Manchester City. United fans were second. They were the second club. Always have been. Always has been. Until what's it called, things changed around. Right? And then they become bitter, nasty, people. Right? Having that stupid banner in Old Trafford. Knowing that Old Trafford, what's it called, the United people who own United, what's it called, and also every person knew what that banner was all about. And did they complain? Did they moan? Did they say anything about it? There was bad taste. This is bad for Manchester. This is bad. No, they allowed it to continue to tick over. When how long was Man City was ago when last we won the a trophy, right? Right. So United's bored. Ferguson. Nobody in United turned around and said that was okay to do so. They knew about that banner. And they knew about it, the fact that, for instance, it kept rotating every single year, and they knew about it, and they highlighted it, knew about it, and everybody knew about it, but nobody complained about it and said it was in bad taste for Manchester, right? From disrespectful for Manchester City, right? But they did it because, quite honestly, all they wanted to do is to humiliate Manchester City. Right. So you sitting me asking me today that I should be sat there going, oh, I got to feel sorry for Manchester United. Forget it. Forget it. I hate that flipping club. Can't stand them. I have every reason to hate that club. They are false. They are pretentious. They are nasty people. They are, honestly, you could meet a Man City fan and you could meet a Man United fan and you could sit around, you could have a beer with a Man City fan and United fan, you'd go, well, all right, fair enough, whatever. Because they're false. They are false people. So, for instance, well done, Spurs. Can't stand you, Spurs. Of the top 5 of the teams, I can't stand, it's been United, Liverpool, Arsenal used to be, I used to love Arsenal, but the fact is their fans have been just stupid. And then number 4, they got talking about, Spurs will be in there, right? In the top 5, because they're so annoying. So, but I'm so happy. I'm so happy for Postecoglou, whatever his name is, right? I'm so happy for him. Okay, because people call him a clown. These media I talk about all the time, this British media who can say what they want, do what they want, whatever. They have no comeback. There's just total disrespect. They can just put whatever they want, gets printed. This guy's a clown. This clown's an idiot. This clown's a clown. This clown's a whatever, and it just gets disgusting, right? So of course it's nice to see him attacking. It's nice to see him coming out and and winning something and saying I win something in my second season. Okay, the guy's now vindicated himself, right? The fact is he's going to finish in 17th position is not good. Now, but the mere fact that he can go away with his head up in his head and say, well, at least I've actually won something. I've actually won the first trophy in 17 years. You can sit there and slag the hell out of me as humanly possible. You can sit there and blah, 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 and I won it. And you can sit there, and United fans can say, well, we were the better team and they played blah, blah, blah. But the mere fact that they won the game. They scored the only goal. Was it a good game? No, it was pathetic. Was it a great game? No. Was it not one for the books? It was not nothing. It was boring. It was crap. Okay, against 2 crap teams. Okay, but the worst, the thing is, this was the thing. This is what I heard. I've listened to, again, for instance, before I talk to you guys, I always listen to a lot of other people, for instance. So, there you go. It's supposed to be a Man City thing, by the way, but I'm sorry. But this is a yes, and seriously, yeah, honestly. It's a right to be wrong. It is a celebration of Loud Cow with some. Okay, this is rice whiskey with orange juice. Lovely. Nobody would drink this. They would drink Loud Cow. Let's go, but they would never drink Thais. We drink rice whiskey, but never drink it with with nobody. I normally have it with lemon and Nam can, let's go with ice. And so it's it's a drink I've actually concocted for myself, and it's my favourite drink. Better than whiskey, better than everything. It's my favourite drink. And big up to Tottenham. Well done, Tottenham. Well done, Potty Stocking. Well done. Congratulations. Well done. Well done. Well done. Okay. Because that, in the mere fact that United could get into the Champions League is disgusting. Disgusting. The mere fact that they could go, and it's just a sly thing. We have these things called snakes in Thailand. Snakes. I see them all the time over here. Slimy, whatever. I love snakes. Actually, fine, whatever. But but United are a snake of a football team. Snake of a team. So, for instance, the mere fact that these snakes could think, or this nasty set a lot. I do apologise for snakes. But this lot could actually get into the champion. They'd be in the Champions League and disgust themselves in their. They're such a honestly, it's incredible. I can't believe it. I'm so happy that Ange, whatever, in his philosophy, this is what I was going to say. The mere fact that they were talking about, talk about two managers, stick them on two pedestals here. 1, 2. The mere fact that was called Ange Postecoglou, right? What he did, he changed his philosophy. He changed his game. He was smart enough because he was old enough. He was experienced enough. He understood to change, to adapt. And United could talk about, we were the bad team, we played the most, blah, 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 blah. The mere fact that, for instance, you're Amarin, he may look older than what he is, but he's a child at the end of the day. He's only in his 30s. I'm in my 60s. I just turned 60. So the mere fact that this guy did not understand, right, this word about change, to adapt, to understand, to receive what Tottenham were doing. That's why Tottenham won. Not the fact that you got the most possessions, you had the most chances, blah 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 blah. Right? The mere fact that they understood exactly what you were doing. And I could reverse it, and we talk about Manchester City against Palace. Palace, to credit, said we're not going to beat Man City on the way Man City play, and Man City we're not going to adapt. We're going to adapt to a different game. Man City didn't adapt themselves. We adapted ourselves on yesterday, okay. But did we do that? No. We were, so we could have our hand up and say, blah, blah, we didn't adapt. We didn't adapt to Palace. And United can't do the same thing. They can do the same thing. But, okay, so for instance, we got an L from as a Man City fan, as Pep Guardiola. We got an L. We were a 10 times better team against Brentford. Okay, but the mere fact that United did not adapt, did not change, did not, whatever, and still can sit there and say we're the better team. It doesn't make no difference. The crowd, didn't they, in the 90 plus minutes, did you score a goal? The answer is no. Did Man City score a goal? The answer is no. Who came out last? There you go. It's the year of the bird. It is the year of the bird. It really is. It really is. One thing I talk about, and I think we have this lovely badge, this lovely, beautiful badge, right? The previous badge, right? If I can get one here, that one there, right? It's got a bird around it. I always think if you had that badge, we would have won, because you got Liverpool, all right? So I have a bird. You got Newcastle, the magpie. You've got for instance, Palace, the eagle. You've got you've got Spurs, the cockerel, right? It's the year of the bird, the year of the underdog. Okay, there you go. And if Man City would have the same badge, would we have won? Think about that one. Man City news. Okay, so Pep Guardiola has come out and said, "I do apologise yesterday. We had to stop the train early because of the thunderstorm." Again, it's still looming overhead of you. He's still like, I'm coming after you. Anyway, so the thing is, Pep Guardiola's come out talk about the Man City squad, the size of the Man City squad, It's not what he said during the mid-season, because he did go on Sky and said, because I've seen it, and say, I need a bigger squad. I need a bigger squad. And now he's saying they want a smaller squad. Oh, gee whiz, that's going to be a tough one, Pep. It really is. It really is. You know, and again, for instance, I just don't know. You know, and yeah, I love you, Pep, etc. I really don't know, but you're going to drop the ball on this one, because I just think, for instance, you know, it is. I get you. There's nothing worse than watching players not playing. There's nothing. I must be an awful conversation saying you got to stay at home. You're not playing to Man City players, to any player. Let's go say you're not playing. It must be terrible. It really is. But the fact is, at the end of the day, we were again halfway through the season. We had so many injuries. We couldn't even fill our bench. You know, we had about 3 goalkeepers. We had academy people who never going to get on. But we had to do what we were going to do to fill our bench. So yeah, it's a difficult one, Pep. It really is. You know, I agree. Don't agree. I agree. The thing is, you're going to get. If you're going to get, I understand that when Man City beat Villa and Kevin De Bruyne came back and we won the game. I remember Raheem Sterling going over to Ilkay Gundogan, because Ilkay Gundogan was left out of the squad many times, and Raheem Sterling said something to him when he came and talked about, for instance, you know, why don't you play us more? And also the guy went to Arsenal. For instance, the Ukrainian guy went to Arsenal. But I remember there was a lot of disharmony, and Pep does not like disharmony in a squad. But you can understand why, you know, and if because there's only 11 players and you got 20. But again, if we have the injuries the way we had this season, which is unforeseen, what are you going to do? It is really, really difficult question. It really is. We need new players. You know, it's like Pep saying, we need players who are going to play 3 times a week and not going to get injured. Okay? Now, it's like Mystic Meg. How the hell are we going to do that? How are we going to do that? How are we going to get to these players, for instance, who, how do we know? We don't. You know, you talk about Spurs and their injury crisis. You know, why they're moaning. Arsenal and their injury crisis. Man City and our injury crisis. You know, and it's 3 times a week, and we never expected Rodri to get it. Well, there was writing on the wall. We just didn't listen to it. You know, we played to Rodri, Red plays Rodri, we played to Rodri. He's going to get injured one day. He's going to get injured one day. He's going to get injured one day. And bam, it happened. Guardiola, same. He's in the same bracket. Play. Why? Because we don't have an alternative. Okay? And it's all right to say that, for instance, you've got an alternative, but he needs to stay on the bench. He's got to wait his turn. And it's not nice for him. But problem is, you've got to explain to these players and say, listen, this is the story, right? There's an opportunity. You might not play every game. Just like the second-class goalkeeper. I think Pep, you know, and I understand what he's saying, and it must be an awful, awful conversation. But I think, for instance, you've got to understand that, for instance, we might not, that we can't play every player every game, right? Sometimes we might get away with it. Liverpool got away with it this season. Man City on their treble season, right? On our treble, got away with it. You could say, for instance, you know, and players and getting very, very small injuries. This season, we've got massive amount of injuries. You know, Oscar Bob, Rodri, God, you know, I could go on. But the fact is, it is easy. We've got to have a sustainable squad. And I understand, and if we lose Pep over it, but Pep's got to realise and understand that we can't have another season where we lose so many players. We've got to speak to these players and say, listen, you're welcome to Manchester City. Put on the blue shirt, do this, you'll be part of the club, part of this, but you might not play every damn game. Sometimes you got to, you know, and these players have got to turn around and say, okay, right? But the mere fact that, you know, I don't know. Very rarely. I think Man City, I've always been a football club where I've always seen players, a lot of players playing football. It's very rare. Honestly, I can sit there and say, I've seen the bench, and this bench has been used. Not all the time, not all the time, but compared to a lot of football clubs, they've been used. But this is the thing, and the players have actually got to fight for their places. Okay, and if you want to play for the football club, you want to play for this, you got to come today. If you want to play for Man City, if you want to win something, you want to win the Premier League, you want to win the Champions League, then, for instance, you may be sat on the bench if you don't step up. I think, for instance, and we've got to say that to the players, because I think we need more than 23. We need 26, 28, right? And I'm sorry, if Pep has that conversation every week, then, pass it on to somebody else. But I think we need to have that conversation. And I think, for instance, Man City needs to turn around to Pep and say, listen, okay, I know you don't like it, but we need a big squad. Okay? We need a big squad. What are you going to do? Okay. And even though I love Pep, absolutely love Pep, etc., he needs to understand that, for instance, we didn't have enough players this season to continue doing what we were doing. And every time we brought in a player who was injured and we brought him back too early, he got injured again. Right? So, for instance, we can't have another season next season. So we need a player who's fresh, who's injury free, who's been training, who can come in to cover that person. So I agree with you, Pep. I understand you, Pep. But the mere fact that we need a big squad, we need a big squad, and you knew that. And you did a Sky Sports interview, and more than one I've heard saying that I need a big squad. I understand it must be terrible telling the players that we don't need a big squad, but we need a big squad. Because we can't have not having nobody play. If the players are pissed off and angry and whatever because they're not getting played, then move on, fuck off. Okay? Right? But you've got to understand that, for instance, if things go, belly up, and Man City do play, FA Cup, we could go for all the clubs. FA Cup, Charity Shield, League Cup, whatever. Thank God we're not going for the Charity Shield in. FA Cup, Champions League. So there's always opportunity for those players to play. So they just gotta suck it up. Yeah, that's a line. Yeah. Anyway, guys, love you and leave you. Well done, Spurs. Congratulations to you, United. Love it. Absolutely love it. Take care. Sorry, Cat from Thailand. Speak to you tomorrow.